Steven Spielberg has spent more than 50 years behind the camera, and in that time, a mythology has grown around him. People imagine his sets as magical, harmonious places where brilliant actors effortlessly bring his visions to life. The reality? Film is a collision of egos, pressure, and raw human friction. And nobody knows that better than Spielberg himself. Tonight, he's setting the record straight on 5 working relationships that pushed him to his absolute limits. Stories of creative warfare, personal betrayal, and hard-won growth that no press junket has ever captured. In 1974, a 27-year-old Spielberg found himself on a disintegrating boat off Martha's Vineyard, directing Robert Shaw on the set of Jaws. Shaw was a formidable British theatrical powerhouse, and by many accounts, a man who made no effort to go easy on a nervous young director. He reportedly drank heavily on set, missed cues, and used psychological tactics to keep tension simmering at a permanent boil, not just with co-star Richard Dreyfuss, but directly with Spielberg himself. There was one particular afternoon, with the sky darkening and the light fading fast, when Shaw allegedly emerged from his cabin intoxicated and flat-out refused to deliver his lines. Spielberg has described having a full panic attack on the upper deck. Yet somehow, beneath all that chaos, Shaw delivered one of cinema's most legendary performances. He passed away just 3 years after Jaws was released, too soon for any proper reconciliation. But Spielberg says he made peace with it in his own heart, recognizing that the madness and the brilliance were inseparable. By 1991, Spielberg was no longer the terrified kid in the baseball cap, but Hook brought a different kind of battle, this time with Dustin Hoffman. Where Spielberg wanted a fast, magical blockbuster, Hoffman wanted a dark, Shakespearean character study. Hoffman reportedly halted production for hours, debating motivations behind single lines of dialogue, demanded rewrites on the spot, and agonized over costume details while hundreds of extras waited. It was exhausting. But unlike other conflicts, this one healed with time. The two eventually sat down, laughed about the madness, and arrived at genuine mutual respect. Then there's the story of Shia LaBeouf, perhaps the most painful chapter. Spielberg saw something extraordinary in the young actor, investing significant personal mentorship and studio resources into his career across multiple major productions. What followed was a very public falling out, after LaBeouf made critical comments in the press about their work together, including statements that many in the industry considered deeply disrespectful. Spielberg has spoken about this one carefully. He holds no hatred, but he's been clear that forgiveness doesn't mean rebuilding a burned bridge. Some chapters simply stay closed. 2 earlier relationships ended far more gracefully. Dennis Weaver initially clashed with the young director on Duel in 1971, resisting Spielberg's vision of a helpless, terrified everyman. But as the footage came together, Weaver's resistance gave way to trust, and the two reconciled on set. And a long-standing personal dispute with Ben Affleck, stemming from an incident during a private family vacation that Spielberg has described as crossing a serious personal line, eventually found resolution through private conversation and a sincere apology. Looking back, Spielberg frames all of it, every argument, every breakdown, every burned bridge, as the fire that forged his career. Cinema demands everything you have, and sometimes the people who push you hardest are the ones who shape you most. If this kind of unfiltered Hollywood storytelling is what you're here for, hit like and subscribe. There's plenty more where that came from.